Sissing on. Hello everyone, this is my first official YouTube video, so I'm gonna try to do my best. Just talk to you kind of like how I would talk to anybody sitting across from me. A little bit about me. My name is Yasin, and I have just graduated a couple months ago from my RN program. I just did the ASN to RN, so my next plan of action is to complete my bachelor's. But the good thing about the BSN is that you don't have to take the NCLEX anymore, so that's what I'm really excited about. So I just kind of want to get into it about this next generation NCLEX that everybody's kind of like freaking out about right now. And let's do it. Okay guys, so as everyone kind of knows about this next generation, the new max is 150 questions, the new minimum is 85. So that's just what it is off the bat. And I know that there's 15 questions incorporated in it that are just strictly for research purposes. They're not going to count towards your final score. So that being said, the very first time I took the NCLEX, I've taken it twice. Yes, 2 times. The first time I was like, didn't quite know what I was expecting. Went in and I got 145 questions. That was before the next generation. So now that we've done that, they've switched it kind of over to the next gen. The new minimum is 85, the new max is 150. So I want to kind of talk about the first time I took it. I did go to 145 questions, and now that I've kind of read about the scoring process, if you are to make it to 145, you are very close to the passing standard. So if anybody here has made it to 145 questions, I stand with you. You were very, very close. I was very close the first time, and just know that the next time it's gonna be fine. And if you didn't make it to 145 questions or 150 questions, which is the max, just know you can still do it. There's a good plan that I have, and I can stand by it. Everyone has said it, and I'm gonna stand by it. And here is that plan. Okay, so let's get into it. Everyone kind of knows that, and I'm not endorsing for any companies or anything like that, but everyone kind of knows that UWorld is like kind of the basis for how you kind of feel with the questions of the NCLEX. So I would say that UWorld really worked for me as well. I only maybe used it for a couple weeks, and I only used UWorld the second time around. I'm thinking that if I used it the first time around, I would have passed the first time around. So if it's your first time, definitely go to UWorld. I will say that once you complete maybe around 25 to 50% of the test on UWorld, look at your score. If your overall score, and this is tested and tried, if your overall score is above 56%, you have a 92% chance of passing the NCLEX. So don't go off of, oh, my score is low, it's in the 50s on UWorld. If you are in the 50s, you should feel pretty confident that you know what's gonna be on the test, because with the NCLEX, you only have to answer the questions right 50% of the time, just 50%. So the test plan that I have is 1 UWorld and 2 Mark Klemic live review. Now, I know if you go to Google and type in Mark Klemic live review, a lady named Sharon comes up. Mark Klemic is retired, so people are doing it for him. But I did a 3-day comprehensive review. Yes, it was $399. For 3 days, $399. And I said, if I'm paying $400 for 3 days, they better pretty much give me the answers for this. And let me tell you, if you spend that and you go to those Mark Klemic live review, 3 days, 8 hours. It's very intense, but it's just 3 days for 8 hours. They will just walk you through the test plan. Sorry, my stuttering. Walk you through the test plan. And I mean, it's so good. It's so good. It doesn't necessarily tell you the answers, but it gives you all the knowledge that you would need to answer the questions. And they give you test pointers and they give you strategies. So it's very, very helpful. Very helpful. Okay, so let's see what else. I would like to get into a little bit about the actual test. Like, I just took it like last week, so everything's really fresh in my mind. So I'm just trying to compile all that I saw and like just help you guys out, because I mean, the main thing about this next generation is that there's only 18 total test items of next generation style questions. Everything else is from before. So don't think that this is like this huge change, like they've changed the whole thing. There's only 18 questions total. If you are even to get the maximum questions, it's only 18. So just calm your nerves about it. Don't think, oh, it's next generation, it's gonna be harder. Me personally, and I don't know if you've heard this yet before, but I feel like it's easier than before. And I took the last test, so I can have something to compare it to. I feel like next generation was easier for me. It's very interactive, and yeah, definitely. And also, the know your values. People say they're not gonna, you don't have to memorize your values. I'm telling you now, please memorize those values. Like, yes, they give you ranges on like some test items, though. You'll see all the results of this patient. You'll see the white blood count, you see the red blood count, you'll see all these numbers, and they'll tell you the ranges on there. But you need to know, okay, if the white blood count is out of range, what's going on? They're gonna be like neutropenic, they're gonna need isolation, they're gonna, have infection, they're, gonna have infection. And so the main thing that I saw when it got to like towards the end of my test, they're asking a lot of analysis questions. They're gonna say things like, how do you know that the patient's condition is improving? So they're gonna have nursing notes from 0800, and then they're gonna give you the nursing notes from 1300. So that's later on. You're gonna see the different vitals, and you're gonna see how maybe the temperature has came down. You're gonna see maybe the heart rate has came down. You still need to know what are the baseline vitals so that you can be able to tell that the client's condition is improving. So they're gonna have like the columns, how the next generation tests are set up. They're gonna have the columns, and it's gonna say it's improving or not improving next to the vital, next respiratory rate, next to temperature. So it's very good. And this is a great time for me to go into what materials I used. Dun, dun, dun. This book is on Amazon. It's maybe 15 bucks. It is next generation style questions. And it really walks you through how to answer these questions. I mean, this book was a lifesaver for me. My aunt got it for me, and she really saved me, like, honestly. And I did want to get into, during my Mark Klemic live review, I was made aware that if you get all the way to the max questions, which I did the first time, the only thing that you have to do is go back to funds. I wish I knew that. I wish I knew to review funds. Let me tell you, she was right. If you go back to funds and review some funds questions, who would have known a lot of the NCLEX fundamentals? Duh. It's like honestly one of the hardest classes. So I got this from Amazon. This is the one she recommended, but anything, of course, Evolve's gonna be there or be square. So funds is definitely something that you want to review. All she said to do was, of course, review your next gen style questions. And she said, do not read the book. Do not read the book. All you do is do questions. Like, you're just gonna do the chapter's questions. You know how each chapter will have some questions? You've made it through nursing school, you know this stuff, you know it. Just review it, Just review, I did maybe 6 to 7 chapters of questions. And it's like, there's like 10 questions each chapter, so it wasn't that time consuming. And then this was strictly just Mark Klemic right here. So I put it in my own binder, but when you sign up for the live review, I'm sorry if I'm talking very fast. I'm a fast talker. Nothing wrong with that, just a little bit hard to keep up with sometimes. But the 3-day live review from Mark Klemic was so helpful. Honestly, I think that's what made me pass. And I would like to tell you guys, I'm so excited. I passed in the minimum amount of questions. I did. So I'm very excited about that. But so basically, the Mark Clemic, they're going to email you 2 books. They're going to email you the blue book, and the blue book is just strictly just review things to just kind of flip through. And then they're going to give you a yellow book. I put these page separators on there. They just give you the printout. So the yellow book, I believe, is about 80 pages total, and this is what they go through on the live review. It's pretty much interactive, so you're gonna be following along and like filling out the blanks as the instructor is talking. You know, you're gonna be just following around and, you know, filling out the blanks on it. So that's the yellow book, and then they give you the blue book. They made it very clear to know the yellow book back and forth, which is 80 pages, and then the blue book, just review it. You don't need to memorize the blue book. It's roughly, I would say, let's see, it's roughly 180 pages. So I just went through and just highlighted, you know, if I had time to just highlight and just kind of review. You know, a review is never a bad thing. But I will say the yellow book, Mark Clemic really groups things in ways that can help you remember. For example, you're really gonna need to know let me see if I can go to the page. This is like so important. I did see a lot of this on the NCLEX. It was knowing the difference between overdosing and withdrawing. So you're gonna ask yourself, what is an upper drug and what's a downer drug? The upper drugs are gonna be your ADHD, your bath salts, your meth, your cocaine to kind of get you just up, you know. And the signs and symptoms of uppers are gonna be, everything's gonna be up. Everything's gonna be tachycardic, anxiety, hypertension, seizures, tremors, you know, diarrhea. Everything's gonna be just straight up. And then you're gonna know that your downers are things like alcohol, benzodiazepines, heroin, opioids, fentanyl, morphine, you know, things that are gonna slow you down. And the signs and symptoms of that are gonna be down. They're gonna be respiratory arrest, there's gonna be bradypnea, bradycardia, anorexia, constipation, everything's gonna be slow, everything's gonna be down. Then, this is what got me with this Mark Clemic, because he's really good. Then he said, you're gonna ask yourself, are you talking about an overdose or withdrawal? So if you overdose on an upper, everything's gonna be up because you overdosed on it. But if you overdose on a downer, everything's gonna be down. Too much of a downer, everything's gonna make you come down, you know, the down symptoms. Then you're gonna ask yourself for withdrawal. If you have too little of an upper, everything's gonna be down. It's kind of the opposite, you know, get your brain in thinking like this. If you have too little of a downer, everything's gonna be up. So just like things like that is what helped me with Mark Clemic. Just like you need organization and thought when looking at these questions. That's what it comes down to. So honestly, UWorld, if you were close to the passing standard, fundamental review, the next generation workbook, and Mark Clemic. If you have those things, I guarantee you're not gonna have a problem. And with UWorld, those questions are way harder than the NCLEX, way harder. So, you know, just don't stress yourself out, you know, and you got this. I'm telling you, you got it. You can do it. If I can do it, if I can get through nursing school and we got through nursing school, or if you're getting to nursing school, you can do it. You're going to do it. And I have faith in you and I believe in you. One last thing I want to hit on about the actual test is that, I'm going to say it if no one else has, the NCLEX expects you to pretty much diagnose the patient before the patient sees the doctor. That's what I got from it. I don't know if that's their goal, but that's what I got from it. And that's probably what you'll get from it. And what I mean by that is they're gonna set up a whole patient and, tell you all of their physical assessment, nurses notes, vital signs, and lab results. And they're gonna have interactive tabs for you to go click on. And that's what I like about the next generation, because I feel like it wakes your brain up. They know kind of things to keep you interactive, and it makes the time go by faster because you get to click on different things and read, where you want, to answer the question. And just know going in that the answer to the question is there. It's on the screen. It's just about narrowing it down, If you don't know, try to narrow it down, try to mentally cross off some of the answers that are definitely not right, So basically they're gonna say the client is at highest risk for developing what? And then you're gonna have to say, okay, I see that the hematocrit's low. I see that the hemoglobin's low. Those are the questions that they're going to give you the ranges on. I see that that's low. Okay, so if that's low, they must be bleeding somewhere. So you're going to say the client is at highest risk for a hemorrhage, as evidenced by, it's going to be dropped down. It's going to give you all these options. You're going to say as evidenced by, low hematocrit, or, but they're going to give you those lab values. So it's just kind of right there. We've been through nursing school. It's just kind of right there to us at this point, Definitely, I will say, how you set yourself up in the test is going to make all the difference. Like the first time I took it, unfortunately, I had just graduated and I was trying to kind of hustle and bustle and work and make back the money that I kind of lost while I was, not working, studying for finals. I didn't take the time to sit back and make sure that I had a grasp on everything. Also, when you take the test, you don't really know what it is. So I'm happy that I took it the first time and kind of seen like what the style is. Because whether you do ATI or whether you do HESI, the NCLEX is its own language. So you do want to make sure you take the time to kind of know what to expect. So you guys have the materials, and I hope that anything I said could be of any help to anyone. This is definitely something that I would have wanted to hear, that just to calm down and you've got this. I think before I took it, I was getting very much in my head about it, and sometimes you have to pull yourself out of it and just know that you're gonna do it and you're gonna accomplish everything you want to. Trust me. And I'm saying this to myself because I know I'm gonna do it as well. So the last thing I do want to get into is when you go into the test, I'm gonna give you a little bit of scoop on going into a Pearson VUE test environment. You're gonna go in 30 minutes before your scheduled test is to start. You're gonna walk in and you're gonna grab a number and sit down. There's gonna be other people in there that are taking all different type of professional exams. I mean PT, you're gonna see NPs, it's not just RN or LPN, but you're gonna see just different people taking different tests. And so you're gonna walk in and sit down and they're gonna call you up. When you go up, you're gonna give them your ID. They're gonna ask you about your cell phone. You might turn your cell phone off and put it in a bag. And I can say that this is kind of how it is at like all Pearson VUE centers, because I took my first NCLEX in Atlanta when I lived there, and I just took it in Ohio. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna go in, they're gonna sit you down at a computer, and it's gonna be a computer room with everybody else in there, so you don't kind of feel alone. My best advice is during the test, take breaks. Even if you feel like, you know what, I can go another 20 questions or I can go another 15, just take a break. Like they're gonna give you 5 hours to 150 questions. As nursing students, we're not gonna take that long. They give you more than enough needed time. Definitely take breaks. I think I took a break at like question 25 or 30, and then I went to 184, I started getting towards 80, and I was like, you know what? They tell me don't go in there expecting the minimum. That's another thing. Don't go in there expecting the minimum amount of questions. They tell me don't go in there expecting the minimum, so I'm gonna take a break when it gets to 85 and just keep myself encouraged, So I get to 80, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a break at 85. I've been doing it for a while. And at this point, I'm like an hour and 30 minutes in, which I don't advise you to go that fast. Like, really take your time. I'm gonna take a break, so I'm getting closer to 85, and then I'm like, click on 85, dush, the whole test just shuts out, just goes black, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's over. What's gonna happen? I get to 85. I'm like, I knew I took it before and I got all the way to 145, the max amount of questions. I shouldn't really know things by then. It stopped at the minimum. I have to have had it. So I passed, and I'm so thankful to God. I'm so thankful. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I'm so thankful. So I'm really happy about that, and I know that you guys can pass too. Just, you know, take what I said, and you got this. I know you do. I will try my best to take you guys on my journey starting as a new nurse. I know it's gonna be a lot. I've shadowed. I'm like not too excited about this whole process, but we got through nursing school, so they prepared us for the stressful career that nursing is, and we got to stick together, and we got each other's back. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.